Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be looking at making really simple stencil backgrounds in your journal to create a quick page. So I'm starting off with my craft journal. This is a small 6x6 one. I'm just going in and adding in some collage tissues. You don't have to do this. This is just a nice additional extra. So with the background we're going to be making, it's a really simple ghosted stencil technique. It works really quickly and it's a great way to create a beautiful background. The good thing about it, because we're going to be rubbing some paint away, you are going to see some texture and some stuff from underneath. Now, whether that's a plain white page or if you've got collage underneath, you're not going to see all of it, you're just going to see little peeks through. So if you've got text or if you've got collage papers like this, wrapping paper, whatever you've got underneath, it's just going to be a nice little something underneath for you to have a look at. So I've just used gel medium on my page to glue down the collage papers, and I was fairly generous with how I put it on for two reasons. One, to make sure the collage paper was stuck down well, but the second reason was I am working on craft paper which is actually highly absorbent. So if I hadn't sealed it properly using the gel medium, the paint would have sunk into the paper a lot and not been as easy to remove. Because I've got some of that gel medium in the background and I've got some of that collage underneath, you can see that just by using my wet wipe I'm able to wipe that paint away pretty easily. It will give you different effects, so it doesn't really matter if you've got sealed paper or not, but if you want a really clear difference between how you're doing it, I suppose either putting gesso underneath or putting a clear gesso or a clear gel medium underneath. Because I really like the mix of these two blues, so I used a lapis and a mineral. I then used some fluid yellow acrylic to make dots over the background, kind of to make stars in the background with what I've got. So I had an idea that I wanted to do a bit of collage on here, and I had this beautiful image I cut out of a magazine. And then I decided that I was going to pop the blend it into the background somewhat. So I sort of had the text stamp to add a little bit of black into the page. So that's where the color palette's coming from. This is also the reason I chose a yellow to echo the hat of the person that I'm using. I then decided, because she's kind of looking over her shoulder, I wanted her to be looking at something. So I got these new moon stencils from Tim Holtz. It comes with a pack of 3 different sizes in it. So you get the round circle and then the bits of the moon. And because I didn't necessarily want to go grey, I thought I'd sort of go with a yellowy colour. Now, I actually ended up going over this a few times because it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be. So I started off with a sort of apricot-y pale colour and then put the yellow over the top. Because it's quite a fluid yellow, it was quite light. So I'm going back and doing a second coat. And then I decided that it was just a bit too white, pale. I probably should have gone with the grey. So I decided I'd go in with a little bit of a metallic. So I used my sterling gloss spray, which is a sort of metallic silvery colour. That sort of acted as a bit of a glaze over the top, which gave a beautiful shimmer. I also, you can see, took that outside, so you've got like the moon glow coming outside. I then went in with a bit of a rose. No, I went back over with a yellow. So it's basically given the moon a kind of pearlized look. So if you had a pearlized paint, you could do the same sort of thing. Now I was going back in again with a metallic. So I used a rose gold. So it's still got those yellow tones to it, but it has a bit of that metallic coming through as well. So it was getting closer to what I wanted. I still had that yellow, which echoed her hat. I've got some of that metallic. I've got a little bit more of that grey coming through as well. I also went with a Stabilo oil pencil just to give a little bit of definition to the outside of the moon. So Stabilo oil pencil is a water-soluble pencil. I'm just sort of patting off too much extra, but it sort of gave a nice sort of grey tone over the top. Doesn't get rid of the yellow, but it sort of tones it down a little bit. Just around my figure to pop her out from the background as well, I am putting a bit of a shadow around her. Now, usually I would put it on the left-hand side, but obviously I've got the moon there, which is throwing off some moonlight, so I've actually put it on the right-hand side for a change. Well, it does matter, I suppose, if we're being realistic, but, you know, as long as you're consistent with which side you put your shadow on, that's what you want. So this is me playing around with some of my new paint pens as well. This is actually a chrome pen. It's from Life of Colour, which I think is an Australian company. It's amazing. It's a mirror effect chrome pen, and I was a bit, you know, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? But it's pretty amazing, and it actually, like, straight, usually when I've had mirror effect pens before in the past, you've had to go over a few times. This one, you get a really beautiful effect first time. So I might just be lucky with how it came out of the packet. I don't know, but I'm pretty sold on it. It comes in a pack of 3 with a bronze, a silver, and a gold colour. So, and all of them have been awesome. So you can see there, it almost looks white. It's that shiny, and when you sort of tip it up, you get a beautiful effect too. So I'm just going in with my quotes, just widening up some of my letters a little bit like I usually do. I will go around and put a bit of a drop shadow on as well, to help pop it out from the background. I was a little bit not concerned, but I wondered how long it would take to dry. It's actually really quite fast drying as well, which is really good. So I did give it a blast with a heat gun, but it dried pretty quickly. The other thing was, for anyone who's used Krylon leafing pens in the past, I used to use those all the time. This one doesn't have a smell to it, so I tend to get a little bit, not funny with smells, but sometimes I find like alcohol inks and stuff affect me a little bit, so I was quite impressed that this didn't have a smell to it as well. You can see by putting the black around the outside, it just pops those letters out a little bit. Particularly when it's sort of a colour shift like this, when you lift it, it kind of blends into the background, and then you shift it and you see all those letters pop out. So it's a really clever way to get your lettering on the page. For those of you in Australia who want to get these pens, I'm no way sponsored by them, it's just I bought them and I love them. I got mine from Natalie May in Adelaide. I presume you can order them and get them if you're from other countries and get them sent to you. I don't think they've got restrictions on them. They're not alcohol based, so it shouldn't be too bad to post, but just check, because I don't know. There you go. So that's the finished page. So you can see in the close-up the shine that you get from the image, from the lettering, the collage bits and pieces. I think I got from a Flow magazine. I'm not 100% sure where that one came from, but I really liked it. And then obviously you've got that lovely moon mask as well. So I hope you have a go at doing this. Really, really simple background to do. Great for cards and so on. Can be adapted in so many ways, but it looks wonderful with magazine collage as well. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.